Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Correct. Okay, you ready to move on to our ugly?
Oh, yes.
Okay, Clint, give me your ugly for week 12.
Well, special shout out to the Niners. I won't make them my ugly because I will fall back on they had like five guys out. It still got ugly. We're on the verge here, but the NFC West has kept us in it. Um, the Giants aren't good enough to be the ugly, but they're falling apart. But I'm going to give my ugly to the Texans because they were my Super Bowl pick. They were a lot of like they should be good. Um, I had hesitations on the Texans when we did the preview before the season, but I thought D'Amico Ryans they had enough infrastructure. I don't think they're good though. um, there's something missing there, offense and defense, and to lose to the Titans, and the Titans were taking it to them at stretches, and then Will Levis gave it back, and then they settled it. That's a game you can't lose at this point of the season. And I mean, not even look good. CJ Stroud doesn't look like he's made a jump at all. They couldn't run the ball. It's another case, I think, of last year the offensive line was so banged up. It can't be worse, but everyone's back and it's worse. So I'm definitely worried that the Texans are just the team everyone is going to want to play in the first round. Obviously, you can always turn it on, but they look like the team. If you're Pittsburgh, like, well, maybe we lost, but if we get the Texans,
Yeah, I'm gonna just again piggyback. I'm not confident now. I think the offensive line is just atrocious right now. Can't like they have moments where like Mixon will get 100 yards and stuff, but man, CJ Stroud doesn't look like he has a super amount of time. And here's the thing, the Texans got a pick six, and they sacked Will Levis 8 times, and they still lost this game. So, and allowed 32 points. So I'm with you. I'm not quite sure what they're missing with all the additions. I think all of us were really excited about the Texans. It's like, oh, they got another year to improve as well. So like if Stroud takes just a little bit of a leap. Uh, Now granted, there has been injuries on the offensive side of the ball, but you gotta figure it out. And in this game, they had Nico Collins back. He did provide a little bit of a spark for that offense, but when your quarterback has a 23.7 QBR, that's rough. That's rough. So to me, I am with you. I think we might have jumped on the Texans bandwagon maybe 1 year too quickly. That makes sense.
it is definitely looking that way. It just something's not adding up. Don't know if it's like an internal thing or it's just, last year was kind of you get those outlier years. And I'm not saying that CJ Stroud is not good, but again, we say it all the time. Progress isn't just a straight line up and to the right. There's up, and then you take a step back, and maybe he got a little confident. Teams kind of figured out what he likes to do and not get rid of the ball right away. So they still have the talent, but it's not looking like they're going to put it together at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. My ugly is going to go to the Bears special teams again.
That was a close one too.
Oh my goodness. It's just like, dude, the block field goals and then the game tying field goal was almost blocked in the same exact way. When the Packers blocked it last week, you think they would have looked at film and be like, "Hey, we got to make sure this doesn't happen again." And it immediately happens in this game, which could like cost them the game basically. They could have had an opportunity to win the game if they would have had that field goal. And then they um they almost got it blocked a second time. And then on top of that, the last 2 weeks, the Bears were like in the thick of the playoff hunt. The last 2 weeks, they lost by a field goal or less. They also have a loss to the Commanders by 3, the Colts by 5, and the Texans by 6. I mean, they had a lot of heartbreak so far this season. So just another heartbreak loss to the Bears record this year. And they gotta fix that special. I don't that kicking game especially figure that out because that was rough. Caleb Williams probably played one of his better games of the year too, unfortunately, against that defense, and you couldn't walk away with a win. That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, it just, I mean, again, three simple plays of a Hail Mary, kicking a 40-something yard field goal. And I think the one in the first quarter was even shorter that got blocked this week. That's the difference between 4-7 and 7-4, and you're pretty much done. I know you're only 2 games out, but there's a lot of teams in that bunch. And your positive is the new offensive coordinator. That looks like the right move. But you're right. They don't have a lot of room for error. The defense is kind of underwhelmed. They have flashes. Last week they looked pretty good against the Packers, but then the Vikings didn't, struggle that much. So it's just rough. You kind of feel for Bears fans, but special teams comes back to kill you. 49ers know it. A lot of teams know it. Like some of these teams stupidly punt on special teams. They don't put enough focus on it, and this is what happens when it counts.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. It's rough. Rough for them. And also, like the last 2 weeks, I'm rooting for the Bears as a Lions fan because I want the Packers and the Vikings to get back a couple of games, and they can't do it for us. And now you watch this week. For some reason, they're going to show up on Thanksgiving, and that's such a Bears thing to do. Come on, Bears.
Those Thanksgiving games are so, though. I can't remember what podcast I was listening to. The Lions got killed by the Packers on Thanksgiving last year, so I think they'll be not want to do that again.
Yeah,
they get the Bears this time. So, but that might be the Viking or the Lions saving graces. They probably remember the embarrassment of last year and would prefer not to repeat that.
Yeah, I think part of it is like, though, my concern is like because of all the Nick, like injuries and stuff that they've had last Sunday. They had a couple big ones like Decker and Montgomery and that. I wonder if they're going to be like, let's just rest people this week because we got the Packers the next week, and that's a bigger game. We need our A game against the Packers. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk about that matchup in a little bit. But yeah, Chicago, sorry guys, like there's some good stuff to build on, but you can't have your field goals being blocked. That's ridiculous.
For sure.
Okay, let's move on. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.